Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for Monday, September the 25th. At this time, I'd like for the city recorder to call the roll.
Palmacher. Here. Berry.
Here.
Glick.
Here.
Noes.
Here.
Mann.
Here.
Mathis.
Here.
Wilson. Present.
This time I'd like to invite Reverend Christine Jones to the podium to bring us the invocation and follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let's pray. O Holy One, Creator of the vast universe and Creator of each and every one of us in this room, as we gather from many places and many tasks, we pause in this moment to express gratitude for the great honor you have given and the great responsibility of serving the community of Tullahoma. May this time today be focused on working together to create a safe and stable environment for all of our neighbors to thrive. Give this board and all our city leaders the humility and compassion to listen to others, the wisdom to make the best choices, and the perseverance and courage to serve Tullahoma well. Bless us and keep us. Make your face shine upon us and be gracious to us. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Jones. This evening we have no commendations or certificates, but we do have proclamations or two. First, I'd like to read a proclamation for the Public Power Week. Proclamation recognizing Public Power Week, October the 1st through the 7th, 2023. It's a week-long celebration of Tullahoma Utilities Authority's year-round service to Tullahoma. Whereas we, the citizens of Tullahoma, place high value on local control over community services and therefore have chosen to operate a community-owned, locally controlled, not-for-profit electric utility, and as consumers and owners of our electric utility have a direct say in utility operations and policies. And whereas Utilities Authority provides our homes, businesses, and local government agencies with reliable, efficient, cost-effective electricity, employing sound business practices designed to ensure the best possible service at not-for-profit rates. And whereas Tullahoma Utilities Authority is a valuable community asset that contributes substantially to the well-being of local citizens through energy efficiency, consumer service, community support, economic development, and safety awareness. And whereas Tullahoma Utilities Authority has taken on additional stewardship of our community's information structure through broadband network, providing internet, cable, telephone, etc. services, expanding community and economic development opportunities. And whereas Tullahoma Utilities Authority is a dependable and trustworthy institution whose local operation provides many consumer protections and continues to make our community a better place in which to live and work. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Tullahoma Utilities Authority will continue to work to bring low-cost, safe, reliable electricity and broadband services to our community homes and businesses just as it has since 1948, the year when the electric department was created to serve all the citizens of Tullahoma. Be it further resolved that the week of October the 1st through the 7th be designated as the 37th Annual Public Power Week in order to honor Tullahoma Utilities Authority and its contributions to the community and to make its consumers, owners, policymakers, and employees more aware of its contributions to their well-being and how it makes their lives powerful. And be it further resolved that our community joins hands with more than 2,000 other public power systems in the United States in this celebration of public power and recognizes that Tullahoma Utilities Authority is good for consumers, businesses, community, and the nation. TUA will hold their Public Power Week celebration on Thursday, October the 5th, from 3 to 5:30 p.m., and welcome everyone to join in the event. This time, I'd like to present the proclamation to a representative of TUA. Will you join me? Flag. Mr. Potter, it's an honor to present this to you. And the podium is yours if you care to make any comments.
Well, thank you, Mayor, Aldermen. I won't reiterate everything you said in here. You summed it up pretty well, but we do take serious the responsibility to serve our city and several ratepayers outside the city, electricity and broadband. And I also reiterate, Thursday, October 5th, 3 to 5:30, all of you, along with the customers, free pizza, bucket rides, and a power demonstration trailer to help educate people how we serve electricity to the homes.
Thank you. We look forward to that event.
Thank you.
At this time, I have another report that we would like to receive. Report from our Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, Hope Nunley. Ms. Nunley.
Good evening, and thank you all for having me to give you an update on the Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce. So first, with our community engagement and events, the Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce has hosted several events this year that bring our community together and celebrate the accomplishments of our citizens, including our Women Impacting the Community Luncheon and our recent 40 Under 40 awards banquet where we highlight and celebrate 40 young professionals under the age of 40 and all that they are doing to contribute to this community. Our Taste of Tullahoma and Business Expo was hosted in the spring and had over 50 businesses that participated to promote their business, and over 300 people attended the event. TACC has hosted 2 successful business development courses this year, Canva 101 and Networking 101, with a 3rd class happening in October, Thriving Together, a customer service roundtable discussion in partnership with Chick-fil-A. We participated in the facade grant in partnership with the City of Tullahoma and are proud to share the results. The exterior of our building was cleaned, sidewalks were pressure washed, missing stones replaced, and our exterior lighting was updated and repaired. We are proud to welcome our citizens, visitors, and newcomers in our updated space. Our monthly chamber coffees have an average attendance over 100 people and provide a power hour networking opportunity for anyone interested in attending, and we do have one tomorrow at the Hands-On Science Center beginning at 11 a.m. We proudly celebrated the growth of our local economy by hosting 14 ribbon-cutting ceremonies for new businesses in Tullahoma so far this year. These initiatives have strengthened community bonds and provided resources for our local businesses. For tourism, the Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce is partnering with Odin Media to create a new tourism highlight reel that will showcase our local assets and favorite tourist destinations. We have partnered with Exchange Media Group to publish our annual Think Tullahoma magazine. This is our strongest marketing tool we use in our office to promote Tullahoma. We have had to increase the number of copies that we are printing to meet the demand. Our Wobble Gobble Chamber 5K will happen in November and has a track record of attracting local runners as well as runners from surrounding communities and as far as Florida for this annual event. And that will take place on Saturday, November 18th. Our Grand Marshal reception will honor the Grand Marshal of the Tullahoma Christmas Parade, who will be announced at our October Chamber Coffee, and that ceremony will take place on November 30th. With a tree lighting celebration and reception at South Jackson Performing Arts Center, and we invite everyone to join us to honor this individual. And then last, we are already planning the Tullahoma Christmas Parade that will take place on Friday, December 1st. This event attracts thousands of people, not only from our local community, but surrounding areas as well. Thank you for your support, and we hope to see you at any of our events. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Director Hunley.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open the podium to comments from citizens. Well, any citizens that are interested in making input up to 3 minutes on anything that's under the purview of the board, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and your address. Any comments from citizens?
Good evening, Board. Greg Sandlin, 106 Albemarle Drive. First of all, I wasn't planning to say this, but just a plug for the Chamber. I've been a member of the Tullahoma Chamber for 20 years and found the networking opportunities, the coffees, their banquets, just an excellent place to build my small business. And they've done a great job. Hope and Tish are doing a great job. My general comments are about item 7 on the consent agenda tonight. You know, my wife and I moved here 22 years ago. Her family's from Shelbyville, so we spent a lot of time on 41A going to Shelbyville. And it took 20 years, but they finally got turned 2 lanes into 5 lanes, and they did a great job at that. So now there's a planned unit development being considered off 41A and Ledford Mill. And you know, this type of growth is just a natural progression, and this is a very logical place for that growth. And this development, in my opinion, is just what many of us were thinking with the 2040 comprehensive plan. It's just what we were thinking: apartments, townhomes, and homes, something for everybody who might want to move here. You know, a place for singles and families to live and contribute to our great little town. And we're growing. I know it's been said repeatedly, I just want to say it again. AEDC is hiring hundreds, maybe 1,000 engineers and craftsmen in the next 2-3 years. We need to hire them to spend all the money, to spend all the investment money that's coming our way. And I'd love for a lot of those folks to live in Tullahoma. And then, of course, there's a large industrial site coming in north of Manchester in the next 5, 10, 15 years. That could be thousands of jobs, good jobs. So I just encourage your support of this rezoning and development. Let's build a pro-business, pro-opportunity atmosphere in Tullahoma. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sandlin. Is there anyone else?
Greg Russell, 316 Oak Park Drive. Just wanting to ask if this is where those being considered for the Arts Council would speak, or would they wait till later?
You want to speak now?
They can speak now. Okay.
Hi there, I'm Jenny Kubitz. I live at 409 Albemarle Drive. And tonight, I hope you would consider me as part of the Tullahoma City Arts Council. Back in 2010, when we moved to Tullahoma, I knew no one. My family knew no one. But what I did know, what it was like to be active duty and to be a military spouse and be able to try to integrate into a community. And in my application, you can see I've been part of music and music theater for many, many years, through church, through school, and through different avenues, mainly civic. And so I said, you know, I really want to get involved in the community through the arts. That was just the way that I was able to connect. So I opened up the newspaper, Tullahoma News, and there it was, Ann Baldwin's Tullahoma Civic Choir. So in 2010, I decided to become a member of this Tullahoma Civic Choir. And at that moment, I realized how much talent we have here in this community and how inviting and how much I enjoyed being part of that. But one other instance was when Rosie Graham stood up there and mentioned something about the community playhouse and that they were going to be performing the Music Man. And my son, being a 6th grader and middle schooler and very awkward, didn't feel apart, felt a little isolated, I thought, here's an opportunity. So I wanted to give him an opportunity to connect to his community. And so he auditioned, and he became one of the ensemble boys in the play. So from that point forward, I realized that was a way for children, not only adults, to be integrated, but also for children to get integrated and have the opportunity to connect in this community. So it's my goal for my church. I'm the children's choir director there, for them to have the opportunity to find joy in the arts and find their confidence through integrating and connecting with others in the arts. So I hope I do have a vision for more arts, and certainly would love to be a part of heading that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cookers. Is there anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, Alderman. My name is Patty Mantooth, 306 Sutter's Lane West, and I'm here also tonight for your consideration for an appointment to the Arts Council. And my story's a little different, although similar to Jenny's, in that my husband and I did move here, but only 5 months ago. And this is our forever home. We are inching our way toward retirement, slowly but surely, and really love what I've experienced so far here in Tullahoma. I have felt very welcomed by the arts community at South Jackson Performing Arts Center. And my husband and I, by the way, we've been married 28 years. We've enjoyed the special events there already, the courtyard concerts, and also the ice cream social recently. And in addition, I will be a part of the musical White Christmas that's we're working on already. We have 2 children who are adults. We're empty nesters. Our daughter is at the University of Alabama, actually earning her master's in language arts, secondary language arts education. She's expressed an interest in actually starting her career here as a teacher. She really enjoys Tullahoma as much as we do. Our son is in Nashville pursuing a career in the music industry. He's working on his first EP. We'll see how that goes. I haven't heard any of it yet. But from my beginnings in Pascagoula, Mississippi, the Gulf Coast, where I was born and raised, Pascagoula, Goche. I don't know if anybody's familiar with exactly where that's located on the Gulf Coast, but I finished out my high school days actually in Mobile, Alabama. And then my young adult life I spent in Birmingham and also Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And all along the way, very active in the arts, in visual arts as well as performance arts. I have always found a way to connect with people, just as Jenny mentioned, through participation in civic choruses, church choirs. I actually was the choir director at our church for 10 years for children's choirs. So moving to Nashville 32 years ago, I had 2 sisters who talked me into making that move. And I'm glad I did. That's there where I met my husband, Randy. We lived in Brentwood for the last 21 years and sold our home there to move here. I did finish out my college degree at MTSU, involved there actually in the chamber choir for a while. And then I married and moved to, Brentwood, had our 2 children. But I also was able to study oil painting very seriously and have a great appreciation for visiting museums and appreciating fine arts, as well as the performance arts. So what I'd like to just ask is that you would consider me for the appointment for the Arts Council, because there are a lot of fabulous people who have obviously started great things here in Tullahoma in the way of the arts, and I would like to be a part of keeping that going and bringing new ideas to the floor as well, and so I hope my skills and talents can be used to do that, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the citizen comments portion, and we'll move into I'd like to get a motion to approve the agenda that's been presented. A motion on the floor to approve the agenda. Got a motion to approve in a second. And got a comment from Ms. Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. I would like to add an item to the agenda. I'd like to request to approve a permit request for special event signs in the public way for Tullahoma Arts Council Annual Arts Crawl, and to waive all permit fees.
Okay, we have the motion, and first we'll get a second on the amendment. Amendment is seconded.
Or no, just the amendment, sorry.
Any comment from Alderman Glick? Any comment?
Not on mine, we're before that.
We're ready to vote on the amendment. That passes 7-0. With that addition, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I had a request. I'd like to move item number 7 on the consent agenda, put it on the regular agenda. It's nothing bad, I just think that item needs a little more publicity than
I'll second
just being
that.
on the consent agenda.
That doesn't need a vote.
Just a public hearing. I just have some questions.
You don't need a vote to do that.
You don't need a second or a vote. What I think he's saying is,
Yeah,
based
so
on the rules.
just move it, yeah.
Any member can object to any item on the consent agenda and it be removed.
Let's move that to the, actually, we've got this on as the last item on the agenda. Let's move this to the first item
I
on the
agree.
agenda.
Yeah.
Of new business.
Yeah.
We'll move that to the first item on the agenda
Of new business.
of new business. Okay, with that, we'll vote on the agenda as amended. And that passes 7-0. Now, I'll get a motion to approve the agenda as now amended.
That was it.
And that passes 7-0. With that, the consent agenda is, let me read the captions for the consent agenda. First is the minutes from the September the 5th and the September the 11th meetings. And number 22-169, request to approve a permit request for special event signs in public right-of-way for South Jackson Performing Arts for Oktoberfest event and waive all fees. 23-170 is to request to approve a permit request for special event signs in public right-of-way for Calder County One Day of Hope annual charity event and waive all fees. 23-171, set a public hearing and a first reading for October the 9th, 2023 on a request to rezone the property located along South Anderson Street and from C2 commercial to neighborhood commercial to C3. 23-172, set a public hearing and a first reading for October the 9th, 2023 on a text amendment to allow accessory structures to match the side yard setbacks for dwellings and structures for properties zoned in R1, 2, and 3. Item 8 is number 23-174, set a public hearing and first reading for October the 9th, 2023 to adopt floodplain ordinance and for the standard floodplain requirements that align with the state of Tennessee. And item number 23-175 is set a public hearing and first reading for October the 9th for the text amendment for stormwater ordinance to update recent changes in stormwater quality. Is there a motion to approve? Motion for Barry, seconded by Mayor Glick. Any further questions? Ready to vote. Everything on the agenda is approved by 7-0.
Mayor,
Can we go back? I was going to ask if we could go back to Alderman comments. I had a comment or two to make.
Well, excuse me. I was going to, you called me, I was going to get through in a hurry.
You were, yeah. You're going good.
Moving right along. At this time, I have skipped a couple of important items on the agenda tonight, and that's the reports from our alderman, the mayor, and the city attorney, and city administrator. So with that, I'll go to reports from alderman. Let's go to you, Alderman Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. I would like to invite everyone out this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. There's going to be a guided tour of the Tullahoma Arboretum. And for those who are not familiar with where that is, it's next to East Middle School at 908 Country Club Drive. So that would be a good opportunity if you have not visited that before to take a guided tour of the disc golf course and all the nice facilities out there. I would also like to make sure everybody knew that Thursday, October 5th, Friday, October 6th, and Saturday, October 7th will be the Legend of Sleepy Hollow at the South Jackson Civic Center. And then also the Tullahoma Fine Arts Center will, on Friday and Saturday, October 6th and 7th, will have beginner resin classes over at that facility. So I hope everybody can participate. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. Last week, with most of y'all, I attended the group study session with the Planning Commission and CPDC. And I also attended the Heart Journey Tribute Band concert last Friday night, and Parks and Rec did an excellent job with that. That was a lot of fun, and they did just a great job putting that on, so thanks to them. That's all I got.
Alderman Mathis.
No report tonight. I've been gone, so haven't been here.
Alderman Berry.
Couple quick things. The school board has been nominated for TSBA Board of the Year. Good luck to them. Congratulations to Sergeant Arthur, who's nominated by our SRO, Justin Blackwell, as the Employee of the Month. I want to take a second to thank you to the Chamber for all the work they do in the community, as well as TUA for keeping the power on, the water running, and the internet speeding along. I also attended the joint study session, and the journey thing we talked about, that's always a treat. I try not to miss that. 41A Festival is Friday and Saturday this week. Good. It's back downtown, back to 2 days. And lastly, just congratulations to Jerry.
Alderman Glick.
Congratulations as well.
I didn't do anything.
Oh my goodness.
I also went to the concert at the park, and Parks and Rec did a great job with that, and the bands were great. And I would, just as part of feedback, I think from several of us, you need to tell Steve Perry to put his wig back on. It kind of took something away from it, but, and I just want to remind everybody that another great musical event is coming up this weekend, 41A Music Festivals, Friday and Saturday. So everybody make sure to go to that. It's back downtown again, so I think everybody really liked it down there. I'm going to be asking staff in their report tonight. I'm not going to catch you off guard, but hopefully give us a quick thing. I want to update on the soccer bathroom project, and I'll probably, just as a warning, I'll probably be asking that every meeting. I just want to make sure that it's kind of fallen through the cracks in the past. I just want to make sure that stays on point. And then I have good news for everybody. And your voices have been heard. The cell phone engineers have got on a map and found a place to build a tower in the Turkey Creek area of Tullahoma, and they'll be bringing it to the Planning Commission to be approved at the next Planning Commission meeting. And they say that tower just in the Turkey Creek area, I know service is really bad down there. It will help it, but it will help service all over town because it will take pressure off the other tower. So that hopefully will be online early next year. So that is great news. So your voices were heard. Thank everybody for calling and making a point of that.
Mayor Pro Tem Mocker.
Yes, first of all, I just would like to thank this board for allowing me the opportunity to serve as Mayor Pro Tem, and hopefully they're good things to come for the future, and the unity of not only this board, but the city of Tullahoma. Something speaking on spirit today was Hebrews 11:1. Faith is to be sure of the things that we have hoped for, and for the conviction of the things not seen. So, with that said, I'd like to congratulate those nominees for Women Impacting the Community and 40 Under 40. What it must be like to fit into either of those categories and serve the city of Tullahoma. But there were some great nominees on there, and I want to just really, say congratulations to those individuals, and glad for everything that they do for the city of Tullahoma. As far as board reports, I don't have anything to report from the Housing Authority just yet. We have been working on several projects that are hopefully coming to fruition in the near future with Franklin Place and some other of the entities in Tullahoma that are being remodeled. And with that, Mayor, I think that is all I have.
Thank you. Let me pick up on your comments about from the Housing Authority. We do have 2 vacancies on the Housing Authority that we just received. We'd be putting those announcements on the next agenda that we put out, but we do have 2 vacancies for people to consider if they would like to serve on that. As for activities for mine, I've been preoccupied with some personal things been going on in my life with my wife Ann, but everything is fine now, and I'm back on fully engaged now. 2 weeks ago I was not. But everything is fine now, but I did attend a couple of board meetings at Airport Authority and TUA board meetings. Other than that, I'm glad to see 41A Festival has been mentioned again. I'll reiterate that'll be this Friday and Saturday downtown again, so we'll have some music downtown. So everyone come out. With that, I'd like to get our reports from our city attorney, Mr. Worsham.
Good evening. Mr. Quick and I have had a nice meeting last week. We're getting acquainted, beginning to work together on a number of different issues that are of importance to the city. I've sent to you all via email a list of all of the pending matters in court, and I invite your questions or comments about any of those at any time. You might like to know that we have now removed the fencing around Oakwood Cemetery on the widening of Wilson Avenue project that we've been allowed to keep, and I assume we've received the $7,000 retainer that they held for us. Is that correct?
I think it's en route.
All right, en route. Okay, very good. And last week, Alderman Glick and Alderman Mann and I and several others met with Ralph Graham and reviewed the plans for the downtown planting rehabilitation that we're working on. And Ms. Wilson was there and some others from the city, Mr. Taylor and his representatives, and we're working toward a plan that we hope to present to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Worsham. Come to the city administrator, Mr. Quick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Over the past couple of weeks, I was able to attend 40 Under 40 that was offered by the chamber. And if you haven't been to one of those, it's very inspiring. We have a lot of young people with some extremely talent and abilities that really makes our city poised and ready to progress. So just want to say thanks and to the chamber for the invite. And congratulations to all of those under 40 that were nominated. I had a meeting with the Publix group with Butch and all of his people. Enjoyed meeting them. I just had time to sit down and make sure that they understood how much we appreciate all of the work that they do. That I think sometimes we take for granted that garbage just automatically, magically disappears from our trash can. Any kind of storm damage just automatically put into cell phones. So I wanted to make sure they knew how much we appreciate what they do. Did a police ride-along on Saturday, just a 12-hour shift with them. Really good for me to understand more about what our policemen face, especially during the nights and on the weekend. That was very encouraging, and really appreciate spending time with that entire shift and that crew. Today, I was able to complete all of the SRO visits, site visits, from all of the 7 schools. Wanted to make sure that we were supporting our SROs, make sure that we're meeting the requirements of our MOU with the city school system. So So I'll have a report that I'm putting together for the director of schools to just kind of give an idea of what we've seen and maybe some things that we need to make sure are in place that we agree to. Park Journey concert, real quick. According to our parks director, we had over 1,500 people in attendance, and our beverage vendor was very pleased with how much we were able to give him from a business perspective. Very happy with that. On the weekend of September 17th through 18th, Grand Slam had a tournament here with over 30 teams from outside of the area. Teams as far as Cleveland, Chattanooga, Clarksville, two-day tournament. That means we had people staying overnight, going to our restaurants, using different facilities within the city, and hopefully buying some gas. So just great work coming from Parks and Rec. I'm really happy with what we're doing there. As everybody's mentioned, we have 41A Festival coming up Friday and Saturday. I've been really impressed with the amount of preparation that the Kiwanis Club has been doing in getting ready for this, especially working with our city agencies, working with our police, our fire, and our public works to make sure we're ready to support that event, and I feel like it's going to be great. Some of you may have noticed we did power wash all of the sidewalks in downtown, and had a lot of good feedback, a lot of good comments, and what we want to do is if we have visitors coming to town, make sure we can put our best foot forward. For those that are concerned, we're going to spot wash any issues that have occurred after 41A, so we'll make sure that's returned back to how it was before. I want to promote National Night Out, which is October 3rd. It's going to be held at Fraser McEwen. It's for the first responders, community partners, and citizens to all come together. I know that one was held last year with about 150 to 200 people attending. We think we're going to have even more this year. All the agencies will be there from Tullahoma City. Tennessee Highway Patrol is going to have a rollover simulator there for people to see. Our own Storm, our canine dog, who I was with on patrol for 12 hours, is going to do a canine demonstration, so you'll be able to see more about what Storm does and his abilities. We'll have nonprofit booths, food, drinks, games for kids, so hopefully everybody can come out for that. Update on Johnson Lane. Basically, Butch and I have met with our Parks and Rec director and some of the other directors within Parks and Rec, looking at some of the drawings that were out there, trying to look at costs. I know Alderman Berry had asked for us to look at could we divide, get a cost separation for bathrooms, concessions, and pavilion. We're not able to find anyone that will even talk to us about doing that. It's 3 separate projects. They've all said it's got to be under one. So we're going to get additional numbers for you of what that looks like, and hopefully we can then break it down, if that makes sense. So we've looked at the drawings. Our Parks and Rec director, JP, and Lyle and Jeff, we went over to meet with Tullahoma High School drafting instructor Randy Edwards. They are doing the actual drawings for us, and we wanted to get those ready to include that with an RFQ that's going to be coming out. So things are moving along. We want to make sure that we're not missing anything. And once we can get someone to really take a closer look at it from a costing perspective, we'll be able to get those numbers back to you. In talking with JP and with Jeff, we do think that number that was given you initially, we think we can get that number down quite a bit by doing that build design approach versus doing some engineering.
Do you have any projection of date when it would be coming online? Do you have a projection on the date that the restroom facility would be coming online?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We want to do it as fast as possible. We know bathrooms have been kind of on the table for quite a while, and we want to make sure we do it right. And so when we look back 20 to 30 years from now, we can say we did it right. So I will tell you that it has high priority with Parks and Rec and with us. We're just trying to make sure we get all our ducks in a row first. I think once we turn dirt, JP, what would you say? Yeah, so 3 to 4 or 5 months is what we can vote for.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quick. Appreciate that update. With that, let's move into unfinished business. These are things that have, most everything here is passage on second and final reading. So you've heard about them before. Item number 10, ordinance number 1604, an ordinance to amend the zoning map of the city of Tullahoma as set forth in the Tullahoma Municipal Code. Ordinance number 1392 to rezone parcels located on 490 Warren Street from C2 General Commercial to C3 Neighborhood Commercial C3. That's a need a motion. Motion from Alderman Berry, second by Alderman Glick. Any discussion? Ready to vote? And that passes 7-0. Ordinance number 1605, an ordinance to amend zoning map of the city of Tullahoma, Tennessee, set forth in the Tullahoma Municipal Code, which is ordinance number 1392. Rezone parcels located east Lauderdale Street from general commercial C2 to neighborhood commercial C3. Passes on the second final reading. Need a motion. Alderman Berry, Alderman Mann, second. Any discussion? Ready to vote? And that passes 7-0. Item 12, ordinance number 1606, an ordinance to amend zoning ordinance, City of Tullahoma, Tennessee, which is ordinance number 1392 by amending Article 5, General Provisions, Section 601, Home Occupations Requirement, and Section 503B, Residential Districts, uses permitted upon review for home occupations. This is for passage on the second and final reading. Motion from Berry, seconded by Almacher. Any discussion? Not ready to vote. And that passes 7-0. There being no other unfinished business, we'll move into new business. First thing is we amended the agenda. We'll go back to what was listed as item number 7 on your agenda package. It's item number 23-173. That's to set a public hearing and first reading for October the 9th, rezone the property along North Jackson Street and from agricultural to planned mixed use with the following density: 350 single-family lots, 326 townhomes, and 320 multi-family units on 175 acres with additional conditions from the Planning Commission. With that, I'll get a motion. Motion from Berry, seconded by Glick. Okay, any comments, questions?
We can't hit request to speak because it's,
You're recognized.
okay. I don't have much to say for good purpose. I did want to tell this board and the mayor that I will be abstaining from any personal comments on this rezoning and the proposed development due to I own the property that borders, or I own one of the parcels of property that borders this development.
Thank you for your comments, and you'll be abstaining from voting as well, I understand.
Yes, I will be abstaining from voting.
Very good. Alderman Glick, you recognize?
I am in favor of this project. I think it's growth that Tullahoma needs in the right place out there on Jackson Street. I think it'll be a good place for the growth. I did have questions, though, that I thought might deserve a little extra consideration, and maybe I talked to Sue Wilson in Finance to see if she could get it, and she thought that maybe if she could outsource a little bit to get some help. But I would like to see some very simple numbers, and maybe the developer already has this, some very simple numbers of when, this is like 1,000 units, and I would like to see when all the 1,000 units were developed, how much revenue that would bring in taxes and property taxes, and then also how much extra expense would be on the city's part to have these extra 1,000 units out there, meaning if we need an extra fire hall, extra firemen, equipment and everything, all that expense, the debt service on that, plus the operating expenses going forward, and any other thing, the schools and everything else, what do those numbers look like between the revenue and expense, just so we go into it with our eyes wide open. And like I said, I think this is the area which would be great for Tullahoma to grow in. So
I'll recognize first to your comments. Let me recognize City Finance Director Alderman Wilson. We have the economic development study that was presented by the developer, and you've seen that. And with that, are there additional assurances that you could provide to the board that the expense that we're looking at for the development, the infrastructure, etc., of course, the infrastructure we're using with TIF to help them finance that. Can you address some of the questions from Alderman Glick?
Yes, Mayor. We have started looking at those numbers based on the projections provided to us by the developer in terms of their phasing in and what they foresee as the development timetable, along with what we were provided by the department heads, to look at some of the costs offsetting versus revenue sources. And we expect to have something put together for you that will kind of give you a better synopsis, something maybe something shorter and hopefully, but that will compile both the revenue and the expense side. We're excited about this too. We want to see how the numbers come out.
Very good. And of course, this is a planned, phased development with 6 phases over a 10-year period. So that's the project we're looking at. Alderman Berry, you're recognized. Alderman Wilson, you're recognized.
Those were good questions that you were asked by Alderman Glick, and looking forward to seeing that information. I'd like to add as a part of that, and I'm not sure who would be able to provide us the numbers, but I would like to see in the discussion, it was noted that if we were to need new schools, that would come from the school system. So I would like to see how many students that we could take on, and how they would kind of bridge the gap with the new schools. So I guess that would be a question for someone at the Board of Education.
From
the county?
From our finance director to the schools. Yeah. We can get that done. Sure can. And let me say that from my perspective, looking at the economic impact plan that the developer presented was a very thorough analysis of what goes on, and questions have arisen as to the ability of our utility authority to support this development there, and I have doubly been assured from TUA that their capacity with fully developed development there, that they still have significant excess capacity over that, with one caveat, and that is over the period of 10 years, there may be an upgrade required to their wastewater treatment plant. So that's the only thing that they couldn't handle carte blanche as it exists today. Alderman Berry.
Yeah, just for my clarification, we've already been provided the numbers on taxes and over the next 20 years. We already have all of that economic data. And then each of the departments did kind of give us a, $5 million for police or fire station. We're going to need to add a new, Quint engine, that, and police said we're going to have to add X amount of employees. So we already have all of that information. The school systems provided us, not as detailed probably as we would probably need, but what you're talking about is is kind of simpling that down, right? And maybe putting it into a timeline that kind of matches up with fate, it says, hey, this is coming at X date. Is that what you're kind of talking? Because we already have the basic
That was
stuff.
our thought, is providing you with a summary and then also looking at it in a phased.
Okay. A little more grippable. Yeah. Something we had talked about.
Right.
Okay.
So just for the rest of the aldermen, Ms. Wilson and I met with Alderman Berry to kind of go back over what he had brought to us before, basically looking at projects of this nature and being able to project revenue and costs over a period of time, but doing it in a phased-in approach. We have secured the services of a consultant who is doing a phenomenal job in putting these numbers together. In fact, brought us some numbers that had to do with schools, number of students that possibly could be coming in. So we feel very comfortable. We'll have some numbers for you very soon. And then the main thing for us then is just tracking, projections and projecting, or looking at our actuals against projections. So again, I think we'll have that within the next week or two is what we're hoping for. And again, putting it in a more simplified approach where we can look at it and it makes sense versus, a lot of numbers rolling around, so.
Also, all the citizens too, where everybody could look at it and understand it easily.
Exactly.
Okay, this motion that we have is simply to set a public hearing and first reading. So that's the motion and the second. Are we ready to vote? On setting public hearing and first reading.
Oh, wait, sorry, I need to back my vote out. Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
It passes 6-0.
Mayor, I meant to hit abstain and it didn't hit.
So it passes 6-0 with...
I won't let you go back. Okay, for clarification, I'm an abstain.
There were 6 votes with 1 abstention. Very good. Thank you. Now moving into the new business items that are on the agenda. Item number 14, a resolution 1970, a resolution recognizing the authority of the city administrator in the employment matter, Costa Price. Need a motion. A motion from Berry. And a second from Mann. With that, I'll turn to Alderman Berry. I believe this is your motion, Alderman Berry.
Yeah, I'll keep it pretty short. I wrote the agenda item and the resolution, the reasoning's kind of in there. We have a permanent city administrator. Ordinances put this in his hands. And so I think just recognizing that it is his authority and that's where it lies. That's pretty much, and that's based off of conversations with the attorney, with city administrator as well, and if he has anything to add, then the attorney, Morrison, has anything to add. But that's in a nutshell.
Any further discussions? Ready to vote? That passes 7-0.
And Mayor, were we going to do the special, the permit request for the Tullahoma Arts Council? Was that was going to be last? Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Item number 15, which is item number 23-176, consider approval of Tennessee Highway Safety Grant, the award of amount of $28,752.50 with no local match. That's required by the Tullahoma Police Department. Details for that are on page 90 with what that would, items that would be used for. Motion from Barry, second from Mann.
Okay, this isn't just a free money grant. This is a grant contract between the state of Tennessee and the Department of Safety and Homeland Security, whereby we are agreeing to submit, looks like quarterly reports with monthly claims and status reports, and that we are going to do certain things to reduce well, I just saw it a minute ago. But it's basically, I mean, this isn't just free money. This the way it's kind of put out is, hey, we've got free money here, let's pick it up. But, am I wrong here? Like, there's certain things that we have to do, and then certain things that we can't use these grant funds for like checkpoints and things like that. And then it says the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, that they're encouraging us to adopt certain guidelines and things going forward. Like, am I wrong on that?
That's the assumption I have in looking with this, or looking at this and talking with Chief Williams. Basically, my understanding is this grant is for us to work on providing safer streets and looking for DUI checks. It also can go for any kind of speeding. Say that loud. Overtime, exactly. We're going to be patrolling the seats and the overtime. We can use it for safety vests and things like that, but from what I can gather in speaking with Chief Williams, a lot of it's just going to be for the overtime that the officers will be doing any kind of patrol that has to do with traffic and with safety of traffic. There is a reporting component to it. We will make sure that we meet those quarterly and monthly deadlines to get that information put in.
I would purposefully like to see the line items for the expenditures on this. I will have a conversation with you for other reasons why later, but I think it would be important for us to make sure that we are dotting our I's and crossing our T's. Okay?
Alderman Berry.
I just have a question, I think, for Sue. I feel like we've done this every year since I've been on the board, at least, right?
Yes, sir. We budget, part of it is budget and police overtimes for the expenses, and the other part is usually the small equipment for our office equipment component, and we budget that too, based on what they're anticipating.
And the reporting's because this is a reimbursed grant, so we spend the money up front, and they want the line items, because if we don't spend it on what they want, or what's in the grant, then we don't get that money back, right? So that keeps us.
And we've done this successfully for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
At least 4, yeah.
It's been a while.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Ready to vote? Passes 7-0. Item number 23-177, consider the approval of purchase for Quint-style fire apparatus for the Vera fire apparatus in the amount of $1,282,977 for the Tullahoma Fire Department. Need a motion. Motion from Mann, seconded by Wilson. City Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is already in the budget. We had it budgeted for $1.2 million. We sought bids and received 2 responses. The best response came from Ferrara at $1.282977. So we're over what we had expected. However, we've had some cost savings. $43 in the breathing apparatuses that we approved not long ago, and then we had $41,000 in contingency within the department. So in case we had those issues, we could meet that need. Then also we had a remaining $2,000 to $3,000 that we're going to be taking from another fund in order to make this purchase. It's my understanding this purchase will allow us to have pumping and ladder taken care of in one engine versus having to separate that out. So it's basically replacing engine 703, which is 27 years old.
Thank you very much.
I don't think it's surprising in the current economy that the price has gone up any there.
Alderman Longhocker, you recognize.
Just a couple of things. The ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act funds, we budgeted, was that $1.2 million that we budgeted?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, and this says that the ship date would be 20 months. So when we get this, is it kind of like a police vehicle? Do we then have to have it outfitted again? Is that going to be an extra cost, or?
I don't believe it has to be outfitted. Larry, let me have our Assistant Fire Chief, Larry, if you'll come up and speak to that, please.
Larry Sloan, Deputy Fire Chief. Unlike a police car or even a staff car that the fire department purchases, this truck will come in with all the warning equipment and everything on it. Now, we can move some of the equipment that we currently have on engine 703 onto this unit to staff it, but we do have money in our equipment fund that we'll be using to buy some additional tools, maybe some new hose, things like that, but that'll be purchased out of equipment. It won't come out of the ARP, anything like that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. No further questions, ready to vote? Passes 7-0. Okay, item number 23-178, consider the appointment of Jenny Kubitz and Patricia and Patty Mantooth to fill 2 vacancies on the Tullahoma Arts Council to serve unexpired terms ending August 12, 2024. You heard from those ladies earlier tonight. Motion from Barry, seconded by Mann. No further questions, ready to vote. Passes 7-0.
Congratulations.
And we got those seats filled with 2 good candidates. Now we'll add the item for the special community events signs in the public right-of-ways and the fee permits. This is for the, Wilson, your motion. Go ahead and read it.
It's a request to approve a permit request for special event signs in the public way for Tullahoma Arts Council annual arts crawl and waive all permit fees.
That's your motion, seconded by Barry.
And I would also, if I could also make a plug for that. That is going to take place Craig, is that Oktoberfest event on October 14th?
It's a Tuesday. The Oktoberfest is on the 14th. The Arts Crawl is
the Arts Crawl.
The 7th.
October 17th, the Tullahoma Arts Crawl, which will take place downtown. You'll hear more about that, but I just wanted to get your clear off that calendar because that'll be a good one.
3rd Tuesday in October, 5 to 8.
Yes.
Okay, you heard the motion, do you second? We're ready to vote. Passes 7-0. Board of Mayor and Aldermen is adjourned. Your board is open. We'll need approval for the consent agenda for the minutes from September the 11th. Motion approved by Almacher, seconded by Mann. Ready to vote. Consent agenda is approved. Jerry. Thank you. Passes 7-0. The new business is a beer application, a special permit for hands-on science center for Mr. Austin Cisco, with the manager, who is to be the manager in charge of beer sales for the Wine and Brew 2 event September the 30th, 2023. We request to waive the permit fee. Motion from Harry, second by Billy. Ready to vote? Passes 7-0. Another one for the Hands-On Science Center. Mr. Cisco will be in charge of beer sales for the holiday cocktail party on December the 2nd, 2023. Request to waive all fees. Motion from Glick, second by Wilson. Ready to vote? Passes 7-0. Your board's adjourned. Have a good evening.
Wow.
What do you say, Mayor?